Thank you for joining us. My name is Zach Stabler. I'm sitting here with Paula Stabler, candidate for Osage Nation Congress. You can visit stablerforcongress.com for more information. Paula, what are some of the challenges that the Osage Nation is facing, and what is your plan to better the community as well?
Well, when we talk about the community, of course, I think locally my community is the village. We have so many problems out there, and we've done so much work in the Pawhuska Village, and we've moved forward so much, but we still struggle with certain things. And so the drug traffic out there, the highest crime rate in Northeast Oklahoma has been in the Pawhuska Village, and we did a lot 5 years ago to clean up a lot of the drugs. And Chief Standing Bear, that's one of his goals, is to clean, the drugs in the villages. And so we really tried to work together, but I think that the laws are not strict enough because there's no focus on that, and we get that a lot. If you're not from the village, it's a secondary priority. But I want to make it a first priority. What we've been trying to do is to clean that up, make it so that we don't have that kind of problem going on out there. We want families to come back to the village. We all want a better place to live. And it's not that it's a bad place to live. The people there are good and the community is good, but we have this influx of crime that needs to stop. So years ago, people were banished. We're getting ready. They're starting to come back. So we've already started with a little reentry program because they're wanting to come back home. So we've had to figure out how we were going to allow that to happen. We are trying, the gaming that we have in the village has been really taken advantage of in the past. And so since we've been back on the board again, and we've had 2 or 3 boards since then, and all the boards have been unified in the fact that we want to continue with these processes. And so some of the things that we've been trying to do is build some better community living. So we've cleaned it up, we've cut trees, we've mowed everything, we've improved the guest arbors, the dance arbor. Now we're going into a playground. And this has been something I've wanted for 20 years. My son's now 21 years old, and I was trying to do this when he was an infant.
Yeah.
And we did have one. We had little pancake breakfasts and stuff, and raised enough to get a little cedar playground out there. And the first time we opened it to the kids, you couldn't see one piece of cedar. There were just kids hanging all over it. So it's a need that we have there. Keeps the kids off the street. And the other thing is a basketball court. And the kids out there, since my dad was a kid, wanted a basketball court. And so we're just determined they're going to have one. And we've got some of the residents out there that actually run basketball teams. And so they're wanting the full out, they want everything, and we want to try to give it to them. So over these years with gaming, we've got money set aside, and that's where that money's going to go. So it's going to be a new place to live, and we want families to come live there.
Just from a personal standpoint, for me, from when I was able to visualize some of the planning that goes on in the Osage Nation with the new arbor. Because I go there every summer, and for the longest time it was the arbor that I knew for all those years, and then a couple of years ago it was new, it was big, it was nice, and it was a lot more people can fit in there, a lot more seating.
Yes.
You were part of the planning.
Yes, because I was on the board there, and so we were kind of the drivers for the project. And so what we did was we started out, and I called all the leadership, the current leadership that was with the drum at that time, and called them in and started to brainstorm with them. If we did this, what would it look like? How would we do it? Because what we had found is we had so much structural damage that it was amazing that the old arbor was still standing. And that was the hard thing for people to do, was to give that up. So I had to get this momentum going. So I just kept rallying people, and my little board members, they hit every meeting, and we would call all of them together. And it was an 18-month project to get from starting to talk about it to actually getting a contract and ready to break ground. So that was a long time of planning, but we did it right. We hired architects to do a conceptual drawing for us. We went into getting it coordinated with the funding. And I remember the day the chief said all of a sudden the light came on, and he said, I've got to get up there and get an appropriation bill going forward for it. And so it was all teamwork with all the different entities, and just helping drive a project and seeing it come to fruition. at the end. So it was exciting. It's just a big roof when you
Right.
get done with it, but
Right.
it's a magnificent big roof, and it should carry us for a lot of generations, I hope.
Absolutely. That's great. All right. Thanks, Paula.